Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Thanks for joining me for another crafty venture, and welcome to the Craft Collabs and Wow Embossing Powder Hop. So you can see these are the cards that I'm making for you today, and these are the embossing powders that I've used today, and more on that to come. But as I get started, I want to make sure that you understand that this is a hop with the Craft Collabs group and is sponsored by Wow Embossing Powders, and we are having a giveaway as well as the hop. So at the description box below, you'll be able to find the link to the next person in the lineup, and we'll also be using the hashtag Wow Embossing Powder, and that should be in at the top of my description box as well as in my title. So you should be able just to click on that, and you will populate a list of all the participants, because we want you to find all the videos in this hop along and leave comments, because with this giveaway, that's how you maximize your chances of winning the $25 gift card. So if you aren't already a subscriber, I'd appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, and make sure you hit that little bell so you're alerted every time I have a new video uploaded or any kind of new comment. And of course, we love your comments, your thumbs up, all of those things, because we just appreciate you guys. So before I tell you a little bit more about the giveaway, let me tell you what's going on with this card, because there's a lot going on, right, already. So I just jumped right into the heat embossing bit. I will go back to show you the dies and how I got to this point, but I just really wanted to start with the embossing powder because these are gorgeous. You saw in the beginning I had a picture of the trio that I'm using. It's called Trio Ancient Jewels, and it is absolutely stunning, and I held them up to the screen so you could see how true to life they really are in the powder form as well as in the embossed form. But this right here, this panel, I left this whole thing in because the powder in its powder state just looks kind of dull. It looks like a dull kind of brick red. But once that heat magic happens, oh my gosh, and that's to me is why heat embossing never gets old. It is absolutely magical, and I love it because it totally transforms the powder as well as your project. And so I do the same on this frame, only I'm using the rose gold, and with each of these embossing powders it has the artist who either inspired it or developed the colors, and they're just beautiful. Every one of them is stunning in its own right. So how did I get to the point where I had all of that stuff to heat emboss? Well, this is how. my big shot to the rescue. And so I wanted, for my first card with the mandalas that I was embossing, I wanted to make sure that my background had some texture and some dimension and pattern. So this is how I do it. I use my embossing mat to emboss that background with the honeybee dye, and it gives that beautiful quatrefoil pattern. And then I take this mandala die, I believe it's from Technique Tuesday. It's 100 years old, at least in my stash, and I die cut 4 of those out, 2 that I heat embossed and 2 that you will see me do some black ink blending on, similar to the way I'm doing this card background. And the reason that I'm doing the direct to paper with the ink pad there is simply because I wanted a black background. I wanted that dark neutral, and I did not want to add another layer because this was getting pretty bulky already. And I wanted these beautiful metallic heat embossed die cuts to pop off of a neutral, and they do that, and the black is so dramatic and it's so beautiful. And so I do the ink blending on both of those, and it's rough and ready, right? You guys hear me say I do that a lot, the rough and ready ink blending. It's not anything fancy pants. I don't want fancy pants, right? These are supposed to be ancient jewels, so they're old, they're distressed, and I didn't want to go through the whole distressing process. But just by ink blending the way that I did and the direct to paper the way that I did, I feel like I get that effect. So here is where I have mounted all of my die cut pieces onto the embossed pieces, and now you can see that beautiful dramatic juxtaposition or contrast of the colors, and I want my design to extend off the page. So that's why I laid them up this way, and of course those bits that you cut off, those you just have to use, right? You just have to use them, and you fill in those open spaces, and that makes your card feel like it has just that much more dimension and that much going on. And now you'll see as I layer these up that there's a little bit of a gap between those two big mandalas. That is purposeful. The eye needs a place to rest, right? There's a lot going on with this card, so the eye needed a place to rest. Also, my sentiment is going to bridge that gap. So the gap will still be there, but it will be bridged. It will marry those two big mandalas together. So set that one aside, start this second one, and while you watch this process, because it's pretty self-explanatory, but while you watch this process, I'll tell you a little bit more about the giveaway, and then we will get back to the card making. So the giveaway, $25 gift card to Wow Embossing Powder stores, both US and UK, right? So I know a lot of times our UK friends feel like they get neglected, but yes, US and UK. The links will be provided downstairs in the description box, as well as so much more of the information. So you want to make sure that you check downstairs. It is open internationally. Now, how do you get eligible to win? Participants must leave a comment in order to be eligible to win, right? The more comments, the more chances you have to win. And that's why we're asking you to hop along to all the videos. Make sure you give love to all the participants. And the giveaway closes on the 28th of August, 2021, 11:59 Eastern Time. The winner will be selected randomly and will be announced August 31st, 2021. I will coordinate with the sponsor and the winner regarding prize distribution. So, wow is amazing. Wow is wow. If you guys don't know, one of the amazing things about Wow Embossing Powders is that I don't know how they do it. Like I've said before, I'm no chemist. I don't know. But the jars that the powder is in are destaticized. Is that a word? You know how sometimes you're using embossing powder or using embellishment and it's all staticky and it sticks to you and it sticks to everything? Well, Wow Embossing Powders don't have that statickiness. I don't know how to say that. I don't know the right words. I never know the right words when I get on here, do I? That's okay, because we're showing each other grace, we're loving each other, and we're loving Wow, and we're so thankful not only for them being a sponsor, but for great products. Great products. I mean, look at that card. Every bit of that is heat embossing or ink blending. It started out as all white cardstock. And that's the drama, and that's the magic and the beauty of embossing powder. It never, ever gets old to me. One thing I want to tell you about these three little hexagonal pieces, when I had them up to the screen, they are from Spellbinders. They were a small die of the month from 2019, I think. And you can layer them. You can use them individually. You can do 2 layers, 3 layers. You can offset them. Lots of things you can do with these. And I'm very happy with them. And I did use a third embossing powder. It was oiled slate, and that's what I used on the die cuts themselves. So you can see it's not quite black, but lots of dimension, because while that embossing powder was still wet, I dipped it, while it was still like melty wet, I dipped it in the dry embossing powder and then heated it, and you do that over and over and over, and it just builds up until it feels like it's an actual embellishment, and it's beautiful. So I did the same on this one. Of course, the shadow is just in vellum, and wow. Wow is all I can say. And Wow and the Craft Collabs hop. Thank you, Wow, for sponsoring this hop. Again, ladies and gentlemen watching, if you would please find the next participant downstairs, hop along, give us love, and make sure you get registered to win. Thanks, guys. This is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. I'm out.